so well. You know, when you roll out of bed in the morning, you got this down. There's a couple of different forms of the line, so this is just one of them. Maybe make some note cards or something like that. This one's a nice problem because they give you the slope, they give you m, and they give you your x1 and your y1. So you literally just have to put those values into the equation here. So it's y minus. Now notice y is negative. My preference is to put that in parentheses. I think that helps here. Your slope is negative x minus, and then your x1 is 4. So you're just substituting in the numbers, and you'll notice like it kind of looks like, well, kind of looks like a couple of these, but you are supposed to simplify signs in point slope form. You do not have to distribute though. You can leave this part inside parentheses. No big deal there. And so then you can see that this is the one that matches. So any questions on that, Jeremiah?
No. Did you understand it at all? A little bit. A little bit. What do you
Okay.
need to back over? Most of it.
Okay, so we're going to try another problem just like it. So this is where I'm able to best help you. So I'm going to give you basically the same problem, but with new numbers, and ask you to do the same thing. All right, so let me actually grab this here. Okay, and I'm just going to change the numbers. -3. We'll just change this to 5, -7. Okay. So what is the, Jeremiah, do you know the point slope form? What is that equation? Can you tell me that?
Y minus y equals MC. No. He didn't even, I'm sorry, Matt, this is why I'm here. He didn't even write it.
Yeah, okay. So definitely got to write it down here. So let me go up here and let's get you to write this down.
He does a parentheses, not a C. X.
And please ask, because sometimes I don't know what is clear or unclear in this format.
Okay, so these are parentheses. Okay, so y minus y1 equals m. In parentheses, you have x minus x1. So now he's giving you these new numbers. Okay, so we have the equation now.
Yes. And so this one here, Jeremiah, it's a subscript. It's used in, like, it's more commonly used in like programming, but because there's two y's, that's why they're trying to differentiate them. The y that you're used to is this one on the left here. This is going to be replaced by a number. Same with x1 or x subscript 1. Okay, so there's like 5 quantities: y, y1, m, x, and x1. We're going to replace y1, m, and x1 each time. Okay, so let's go back here to this other problem. You always start by writing the equation: y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And it's good to say it out loud, whatever works for you. But you got to have this down. Now, what is the slope in this new problem that I've given you?
-3.
-3. So that's going to go right here. Now you can substitute them one at a time. You don't have to do them all at once. Okay. What is 5 on the right here? Is it x1 or y1?
X1.
X1. X always comes before y. So that goes into this position here. -3, x minus 5. Now on the left, it's y minus -7. And I would write it in parentheses. I would recommend you do the same. You have to simplify signs on the left here. So this becomes y plus 7 equals -3, x minus 5. So literally all we're doing is substituting in 1, 2, 3 numbers into this problem.
Okay, do you understand why it's y plus 7 now? Yeah, why? I can't explain it. Because a negative times a negative is positive. Positive. Okay. Get that now? Yeah. Okay.
So what your dad's referring to is like the rule, it's like you on the left, you have to simplify signs, and the same thing inside the parentheses on the right. So we're going to do another example here where I give you a slope of -3, and I give you the point -2, -6. And I want you to start by writing the point slope form of a line. So could you write that equation down? It's repetitive, but you got to do it. Let me know when you've got it down, and we'll look at the next
part. You're going to write down this equation again. Okay. You need to learn the equation. So the M is the slope. Which one is the slope? Okay.
So -3.
Yes. All right, and then where do the points go? So you got to start writing that.
Yeah, so once you get those down, we're gonna substitute those points in. And this time, the x1 is negative. So you'd write x minus, and then because it's -2, I recommend putting that in parentheses like this. You can see there's two sets of parentheses. Think of parentheses as like doors you walk through, opening a door, closing a door, closing a door. They have to match. And then similarly over here on the left, y minus parentheses -6. And you do have to simplify signs. You do have to, in this case, minus a minus, like your dad said, that they're two negatives. They become a positive. So your final answer is -3x plus 2. On the left, it's y plus 6.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
So the goal here, Jeremiah, is I want to give you one just like this, and I want you to do it on your own. And I know there's some pressure. You got me here, you got your dad there, but I think you can do it. So let me give you another problem here and see if you can do it on your own. Your slope is -5, and the point will be -2, -3.
Mhm. Is that what goes there? Do you have the M next to it? John? Which one is Y1? Okay, start with that.
-3.
Okay, so put in parentheses. Okay. Equals, right? You're following this equation right here. What, and then so what did he put is the value of M?
-5.
Okay, so write that. Okay, now parentheses. X. Because look, you're following this, X. And then what is X1?
x1 would be -2.
Right, so minus and then -2 in parentheses. Okay. Now simplify because, right, you've got a negative and a negative here, right? So what is that?
Positive.
So very good. Negative. Yeah, a negative and a negative. Because you have a negative and a negative there. Okay. So tell him what you've got.
What's your final answer there, Jeremiah?
Y plus 3 equals -5. Parentheses x plus 2.
Good. All right. So I heard your dad helping you there quite a bit. I mean, what I'm trying to do here is give you essentially the same problem, time and again. We did 1, 2, 3, 4 problems, but they're all the same. I'm giving you a slope, a point, and we're just substituting them in. And what you've got to buy into is that, like, I'm going to try to just give you the same thing over and over again until you like, okay, I'm comfortable. I know how to do this type of problem. And with that said, we'll head on to what I see as question number 2, which is something related, but it's not the same question in any way at all. This one asks for the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Do you know that one?
No.
All right, so this is y equals mx plus b. And again, this is one you gotta you're gonna want to know. I'm gonna ask you again in the next problem to say what is the slope-intercept form, and you've got to be able to come up with that. Another piece of this is that there's what's called the slope formula. This is the slope formula. And it's required to find the slope. We're not given the slope, we're just given a bunch of points. You could graph them, but that's not the way this is designed. They use subscripts again in this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, this is something that you have to know. You have to know it, at any point in time in this course. All right, so please write those down in your notes. Let me know when you've done that, and then we'll move on to the rest of this problem.
Okay, see,
Yep. Done.
Got it. All right, now this table has got too much going on here. We only need 2 data points, so I'm just going to arbitrarily choose the first 2, and we don't need the rest. They're distracting. The first ordered pair that I'm going to write out is the 3 comma minus 3. X and Y. Then I'm going to write out the next ordered pair, 0 comma minus 2. Ordered pairs are always X and then Y, X and then Y. I'm getting them from the table. I could have used these other ones, but I'm just choosing to use the first 2. This is very important. You want to label X1, Y1, X2, Y2. You want to literally write those down underneath or above each data point. The ones need to match up and the 2s need to match up, meaning this is the first data point, this or the first X and the first Y, the second X, the second Y, and we're going to use those in this formula here. So we're going to do another problem like this. I'm going to expect you to write X1 and Y1 underneath each time. Okay, so we're going to calculate the slope. What is the value of Y2, Jeremiah?
The value of y2 is 2.
You're over here on the right. If you wrote this down,
Negative 2.
did I hear -2? If I didn't,
yes, it is.
okay. All right, what is the value of Y1?
Y1 -3.
-3. Now it's this minus has nothing to do with this minus in the point. So it's minus parentheses -3. I know there's a lot here already, but you really want to put your negatives inside parentheses. What is the value of X2?
Value of x2 0.
0 minus, what's the value of X1?
3.
-3. When you simplify for slope, you work on the numerator, then the denominator. You work on them separately. You don't combine anything. Now, from our previous problems, what happens when you have 2 negatives?
Turns into positive.
So -2 plus 3. What is 0 minus 3?
0 minus 3 is 3.
It's actually -3. So it's as if well, we'll get to that later. How about a -2 plus 3?
-2 plus 3, that would be 1.
+1 over -3. And by preference, the negative goes up top. So the negative looks like this, -1/3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we used data points from the table to find the slope because we want the slope in this slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form requires 2 things. It requires the slope and it requires the intercept. It's built into the name. And if you recall from the previous problems, point slope form required a point and a slope. The name tells you what is required. Okay, so we have the slope, -1/3. The intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. Now, it just so happens to be this point here. This is your b value, this -2.
Mhm.
And we'll see if more problems are like that. Probably would be good for us to do a couple like this. But your b value from that is -2. And so you, just like in the previous problems, you write the equation again and you substitute the things that you know m and you know b. So this becomes y equals -1/3 x minus 2. And that's your final answer.
Do you understand that the first equation that you did was just to solve for m? You
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
that, correct? Okay.
Yeah, and your dad's question is a good one because we're going to do a problem right now just like that, where I'm going to give you a table with less information than the previous one. We're going to find the slope you're gonna identify the B value from the table. It's the one where there's 0 in for X and the Y value. And then we're gonna write the equation. So you're gonna either help or do this same amount of work again in the next problem. Okay. So I've tried to we'll just condense this table, something like this. So can you tell me the ordered pairs, Jeremiah? The first ordered pair, the first X comma Y.
-4, -2.
Okay, how about the second one?
0 and 6.
0, 6. And then I recommend labeling these X1, Y1, X2, Y2. I think that will help. Let me know when you get caught up, because I'd like you to tell me the slope formula.
Which one of these is the slope formula? Which one?
Y equals M.
Which one is the slope formula? So that's here. Which one is the slope formula? No, that's a slope-intercept form. This is slope formula.
Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Now tell me the value of Y2.
Y2, 6.
Okay. And what is the value of Y1?
-2.
Good. X2
0.
and X1.
-4.
Okay. I want you to calculate the numerator, 6 minus a -2.
So what happens here? That's what happens.
So the 2 turns into a positive.
Right. So which is what?
6 plus 2, 8.
Good. On the bottom, it's the same thing. You combine the signs, so it becomes 0 plus 4. And then final answer of 4. What is 8 divided by 4?
8 divided by 4 is 2.
Perfect. What does 2 represent? What did we just calculate?
M equals
M. The slope is 2. And why do we want the slope? Because in this form, we need 2 things. We need the slope and we need the intercept. From this table, can you tell me what the intercept is?
the intercept is
So let's go back and look at the previous problem here. The intercept was -2. Why was it -2? Why did I circle this? What was really important about this X value?
because there was a 0.
That's right. And then you just grab the Y value. So let's look at our table. There's the 0. What's the B? What's the Y intercept?
6.
6. And you should write that. You should write somewhere that B equals 6. Now we don't, lose it. So now we're just substituting numbers in. 2 goes in for M. 6 goes in for B. Can you tell me the final answer of our equation?
Y equals 2x plus 6.
Good. All right, let's do another one. X, Y. Change this up just a little bit here. Let's go. All right. So we want the equation of in slope-intercept form, mx plus b. What is the first thing that we should do? What did we do first in the previous problem?
Pick the first 2 numbers.
We should write the ordered pairs. Give me the first ordered pair.
0. That's x1. And then 3.
Good. You want to say them that you want to pronounce the order pair 0, 3, just as a tip. How about the next one here? What's the next ordered pair?
-3, -4.
Good. All right. What's the slope formula?
Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
Yes. What is x1?
X1 would be 3. No, 0.
0. So this is x1 and this is y1, x2 and y2. You really want to write these down like as you're doing the problem. It helps because all you're doing is mapping them in. You're just saying, oh, I need y2. Where's y2? Oh, it's -4. Okay, that's the reason you're doing it. It's so that you can find them later on. What's the value of y1?
Y1, 3.
Okay, so -3. What is x2?
-3.
How about x1?
0.
0. All right, what is -4 minus 3?
Explain what?
-4 minus 3.
I got negative.
Okay, so -7. And then let's go to the next problem here. How about -3 take away 0?
So that would be
Taking away 0.
-3.
-3. Now, two negatives cancel in division just like they do in subtraction. So when you have one at the top and the bottom, you can just cancel them out. It becomes 7/3. What is 7/3 in this problem? What does it represent?
The M.
The slope, yes. What is the B value?
That would be 3.
3. Good. So your final equation is y equals 7/3 x plus 3. So when you look at this problem, Jeremiah, what about this do you feel like you could not do on your own right now?
You can answer him seriously.
That's what I'm asking for. It's exactly what I want. I want to know what it is that you think you can't do, because we're either going to do more of that or I'm going to give you one and you're going to do it on your own.
The M.
The M. Okay. So the M requires you to have two ordered pairs. Okay. And you get those from the table. So is it the actual calculating of the numbers, like the calculations here, or is it putting the numbers into the formula?
It's putting the numbers into the formula.
But so you've been doing that really well. Like if you label x1 and y1, x2 and y2, you're going to give me the right numbers here. I'm seeing more of the issue over here on the right with just signs and adding positive and negative numbers. You can do this. Okay, but so let's try. I'm going to make the slope kind of. Sorry, was there?
No, I was just saying, I completely agree. It's like, I think with Jeremiah, it's just a matter of laziness. He's not labeling like he's supposed to.
Yes,
So.
I mean this is so critical. I have to do this because I will misidentify the right numbers if I don't do this. Not necessarily in this problem, but more complicated ones as you go. So please, I can only ask. I can't demand that you do that. But let's try another problem here, and let me give you a table, okay? And all I want you to do is find the slope. So we'll do this in chunks here, x and y. All right. So all I want you to do, Jeremiah, is tell me the slope. You're going to do all the work. If you have questions, please let me know or ask your dad, but go ahead and calculate the slope for me.
Do exactly what you've been doing. Write them out first, write out the order pairs. on the next one. Okay. And then you plug and place them, right? So, no, what is the first one? Oh. Minus. Your writing is horrible. Gosh. What do I want? Okay. Well, first of all, you're not doing the parentheses because remember you have minus. No. Like that. Okay. Because it's minus y1. Y1 is a -6, right? Okay. Boom. No, minus. Solve the equation. Minus. Okay. So now solve. -3
Plus -6.
plus, no, not plus 6.
Minus.
No. Minus a -6 is what? You have a negative next to a negative. So what does that turn? to 6 into?
-9.
What is the negative turn? You have negative next to a negative. What does that turn the negative into?
To positive.
Okay, so you have -3 plus 6.
Which is 9.
No, -3 plus 6.
-3 plus 6 is 3.
There you go. Then 3
Minus 0, which
minus
is 3.
Sounds like you're almost done. Keep going.
You have 3/3,
Yeah, 3/3 is the answer.
which is what? How do you simplify 3/3 when you have a number over itself? What does that equal?
0.
So Jeremiah, division's a sharing problem. So you have 3 things and 3 friends. How many things does each friend get?
1.
1. It's a sharing problem. Think of the bottom as your friends, top as whatever you want to distribute, pizza, whatever's going on there. Okay, well done. We got the slope down. What is the B value from the table?
-6.
Good. So the equation is mx plus b. Can you give me the final answer using the slope and the intercept? What goes in the box here for the final answer?
Y equals 1, x plus -6.
-6. You take away the plus and just it's -6.
Yes, your dad's referring, there's all these preferences in math, and I would be okay with this, but the multiple choice may not exactly represent this. It may say -6 rather than plus -6.
And it might just say x instead of 1x.
Yes, yes. And yours isn't wrong, but it may not be in the answer space. So it's a separate issue. All right, let's transition to a related but slightly different topic here. They're giving you an equation, and we've looked at 2 forms of an equation. We looked at y minus y1 equals m x minus x1, which is point slope form. And I can't emphasize how important it is to just keep writing these out until you know them so well that you can say them at any time. And the next one is slope intercept form. This equation on the right, Jeremiah, this is an identification. Is it point slope form or is it slope intercept form? Don't worry about the words. Just what does it look like? Does it look more like the first one or the second one?
Point slope.
First one. It's in point slope form. Okay. To go from point slope form to slope intercept form, which is what we're going to do in this problem here, to go in this direction, you solve for y. Okay, so you want to associate this problem that they say write it in slope-intercept form. You're solving for y. Okay, because you may have actually done that in a previous class here. So let me rewrite the equation.
Right. This equation, right?
So we want to solve this for y. And I just want to ask you here, do you have any idea how to start? And if you do, what would you do to start this process?
You would figure out the parentheses first.
So yeah, I would actually distribute the 2 to both terms here. You're distributing the 2 to x and the 2 to the 3 or the -3, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's 2 times x, which is 2x. What is 2 times -3?
2 times -3 is
What about just 2 times 3?
2 times 3, 6.
6. Good. Y plus 4 on the left side here. Okay, so I'm just bringing down the left-hand side. What is keeping y from being by itself? What is the other math operation and number on this side of the equation?
4.
4, positive 4.
Yeah.
How do you undo addition?
Remember I taught you, like, if you do to one side to get it by itself, you have
You
to
gotta
do the
do
other.
it to the other side.
Yeah, okay, so what do you need to do to this side to get the y by itself? And then do to the other side also?
Sometimes some teachers use the word opposite, in this case, but it's really undoing addition.
How do you make 4 equal 0?
You subtract it.
Yeah, there you go.
You subtract 4 from both sides. Now it's very important that you put the numbers under the numbers. Don't put the 4, subtract 4 under the 2x because it's not associated with that. On the left, it's y. On the right, it's -6, but you're really adding a -4 here. So this is where sometimes it's easier to move this up into this position. I'm not sure how you've seen this in the past, but it's -6 -4. So they're both negative, which means that the answer is negative. When they're same sign, you add the numbers without the sign. So 10.
You see that?
Yeah.
That only works when they're same sign. When they're same sign, like you know that 6 plus 4 is 10. -6 minus 4, they're same sign. They're both negative. So the answer is negative, and then you add the numbers.
You get that
When-
one.
Yeah, I get that.
When they're opposite in sign, it's a different rule. We can tackle that at a different time. So let's look at another problem. We'll do this one together, but this is very important that we we'll get you comfortable with this. So y -3 equals -2x plus 1. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to solve for y. And you correctly told me in the previous problem that the first thing you should do is multiply in. So we're going to take this -2 and we're going to multiply in.
What does that equal? What's -2 times x?
-2 times x is -2x.
There you go.
And then the next one is a negative times a positive. -2 times +1.
So that would be -1, -2.
Okay, and then on the left side here, so it's the same question as before. What is keeping y from being by itself? And it's this right here. So can you verbalize this? What do you see here to the right of y?
Y -3.
-3. So how do you undo subtraction?
You add to it.
So what do you add?
Yes.
You add 3 plus 3.
You're going to add 3 to both sides, and it's a sharing thing. You want to have the same on both sides. You want it to get to 0, as your dad mentioned. Now on the left here, I'm sorry, on the right, you almost always just bring down the variable. Okay, but on this +3, sometimes it's easier to put it in line. You got to decide what you like. I like it below, but either place is good. But this is what I've got to get you to be able to do: -2 plus 3. So these are opposite in signs. One's negative, one's positive. The one that is further from 0 takes on the sign. So which is further from 0, a -2 or a +3?
0, 3.
So that tells you the answer is positive. Then you take the larger and subtract the smaller without the signs.
Okay, so 3 minus -2.
3 minus 2. What's 3
Oh.
minus 2? That's what he's asking.
Oh, 0. 0
So-
2, 1.
1. Okay. So we can work on that. Another analogy is made to money. Like you have $3 and you spend $2. How much money do you have left over? We can get to that also. But let's not lose track of what we're trying to do here, which is we're converting from point slope form to slope intercept form. And you do that by solving for y. And this is a fairly common test question that you're going to see. You're going to see this over and over again where you have to be able to do this. So let's do another one here. How about y plus 2 equals -3x minus 2. The first step is to take this -3 and distribute it in to this right here.
What would it be?
Okay, so -3 times x would be -3x.
Okay, good.
Then
-3
3 times 2. Neg-
Because it's a minus here, so that actually makes it a negative. So what's -3 times -2?
That would be -5.
You're multiplying 3 times 2. What is 3 times 2?
3 times 2 is 6.
6. They're both negative, so the two negatives create a
Positive.
positive, so plus 6. Okay. I want you to finish the problem from here. I want you to undo whatever you need to undo on the left, move it to the right, and give me the final answer whenever you've got that down, please.
So this is what you've got. So before he wants you to finish it. What do you do first?
Okay, you try to get the y by itself.
So how do you do that?
You subtract it from 2.
Whenever you do to one side, do the other. Very good. So right, y right. So bring it down. What symbol goes in? Oh, there you go. So now you tell him that.
Y equals -3x plus 4.
Good. Okay, so I've asked you this before, but let's go back and look at it like this previous problem here. Or even this one, I guess this one's fine, is again, like, what is it that you don't feel like you could do on your own right now to be able to work out a problem like this on your own?
The times the negatives.
Okay, yes, I would agree. Yeah, there's some prerequisite skills that are just not in place at the moment here. So
Which is it's really weird because he used to be great with negatives. I don't know why he's all of a sudden forgetting them.
it can be remedied pretty quickly. I'll give you some suggestions at the end, or we can talk about it. We should probably talk after lesson anyway,
Okay.
to give you some feedback on what I'm seeing as well. So let's look at this last question. Josh, I don't know if you want to send that other question. We could probably get through them all. Or if it doesn't matter.
You have the couple here.
Okay, if the goal is to get through
You know what, I can finish with him. I just you know, I'm picking up some stuff too, so this is helping.
Great. All right, so during a trip, Amy had to take 2 different trains. Her first train traveled for 3 hours and the second train traveled for 4 hours. Combined, the trains traveled 625 miles. So then it goes on to say, if the equation 3m plus 4n equals 625 represents this situation, which statements are true regarding this equation? So Jeremiah, are you, how do you feel about word problems, story problems? What do you like these? Do you dislike them? Tell me, give me some feedback. They're tough. They're really tough. They can make you feel overwhelmed, and there's a lot that's here. And then the problem doesn't really do you any help by doing one of the which of the following here. But let's try to break this down to something you probably already know. Distance is rate times time. Are you driving yet, Jeremiah? Probably not. You're not algebra. So someday you will be. And the most common one is you're driving down the interstate at 60 miles per hour. And if you go 60 miles per hour in 1 hour, you go 60 miles. It's kind of a nice starting point here. Are they giving you the rate or the time?
The rate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Near the
the
time.
time.
They're giving you time. Okay, so they're not giving you the rate. All right. So in this case, when it says 3m, they're telling you the time is 3, but they're using m for the rate. So the rate is m in this problem. Sorry, was there a question?
No, I'm understanding it now. Thank you.
Okay, so they don't use the word rate though. They use the word speed, and that's fine in this context, but they're saying that m is the speed of the first train. We're led to believe that m represents the first train. Now this 4n is for the rate or the time, Jeremiah?
Okay.
No, he's asking you,
I'm asking you.
Oh, that would be the rate.
Okay, it says 4 hours.
Oh, that means the time.
So that's the time. 4 is the time, and n is the rate. But more specifically, they call it speed. They say it's the speed of the second train. Okay, so this will help you to be able to answer the questions here about which variables represent what. So m and n, if you're looking at your answer space here, let me snip that in to help here. I think it's good to sometimes look at the questions without going through the answer space. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. So we got the second to last two. The variable n is the speed of the second train, and the variable m is the equation represents the speed of the first train.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So it looks like it's that one and that one there. It looks, because this last one says first train again. These are tough. It's always tough when you get sort of these weird, which of the following questions. So this 625, Jeremiah, it's the distance. And in these problems, when you get these distance, rate, time problems, you really want to look at the units to help you figure out, is it D or is it R or is it T? You're gonna see this equation over and over again in this class and in Algebra 2. So sometimes it's good to note, okay, it's time, it's distance, or sometimes they'll give you a problem with rate and you put an R there. But you really got to move in the direction of putting some notes down. And if you can, maybe print these out, have them in front of you rather than on the screen for that.
Okay.
All right, well, that probably does it for today's lesson, Josh. You and I probably have a conversation if you've got some time later today, or whenever is convenient. I've got some time later today, tomorrow, of course, as well.
Yeah.